Hi, I'm Evan Reinheimer. In this video, I'm going to share my top 5 tips for traveling safely and responsibly during the COVID-19 pandemic. Thanks for watching. The COVID-19 pandemic has drastically changed the way that people travel. And as you may know, I travel extensively to create and exhibit my artwork. I'm currently here in Tulum, Mexico, and these are some things that I've learned while traveling during the pandemic that will help keep you safe and comfortable. But before I get started, please take the time to subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. Also, be sure to watch this entire video because some of these things might be common sense, but others are probably going to be surprising to you. I also have an important bonus tip at the end that you won't want to miss. And remember, the safest way to travel during the pandemic is to not travel at all. I'm not advocating that you defy any travel restrictions, so please decide whether it's really necessary for you to travel at all. And if you are going to be traveling, please do so safely and responsibly. These steps will help keep you and your fellow travelers safe and more comfortable. First, before you go anywhere, make sure that your travel plans don't violate any travel restrictions. Travel restrictions vary from state to state and country to country. They are also constantly changing, so make sure that you have the most up-to-date information. On a recent trip to New Hampshire, I was not required to quarantine, just sign a waiver stating that I did not have any COVID symptoms. However, just across the border in Maine, I was required to show proof of a negative COVID test taken within the previous few days. Flying into Mexico, where I am now, required no testing, paperwork, or quarantine, although the airline did ask health questions at check-in. Next, carry hand sanitizer with you. This one might seem like an obvious one, but finding the right sanitizer here is the key. I found this spray hand sanitizer that has multiple uses. It's a spray liquid instead of a gel, so it can be used as a surface sanitizer as well. It also smells really good, and it doesn't leave your hands feeling sticky like some of the gels do. I'm going to put a link to these in the description of the video, and if you only get one thing from this video, this is the one to get. The bottles last a really long time, and they're small enough that they're allowed on airplanes, and they're easy to keep in your pocket. Next, if you are going to be flying, you'll need to wear a mask of some sort. All major airlines require them right now, so there's no way around this one. And just like the hand sanitizer, you don't want to get just any mask. Find a mask that's comfortable on you for long periods of time. I like to use this black mask for day-to-day use, but for long extended periods of time it becomes uncomfortable. So when I fly, I prefer to use these basic paper masks that you see all over the place. They're lightweight and easy to breathe through. They don't get hot and humid against your face like the fabric masks do, so on long flights, I find these types of masks much more comfortable. Try out a few masks before your flight and determine which one is the most comfortable for you. The next thing is to avoid group activities and travel if you can. I've always enjoyed traveling alone or with just one other person. So the fewer travel partners you have, the less chance you'll have for exposure to COVID. Katie is with me here in Mexico. When we got to the airport, we rented a car instead of taking public transportation or a shared van to our destination here in Tulum. Of course it was more expensive, but it was worth it to minimize our possible exposure to COVID. And here in town, we have bikes that we ride to reduce our need for taxis. Next, if possible, stay in a hotel or a rental that has a small kitchen. This is something that I've been doing for years when traveling. Not only is it much less expensive to shop at the supermarket and cook your own meals, but it also reduces your need to eat at restaurants and risk possible COVID exposure. And if you do go out to eat, sit outdoors if possible, of course, and choose to eat at local, independently owned restaurants. They need your support right now more than ever. And finally, my bonus tip. Respect the locals. Many places around the world depend on travel for their economy. Here in Mexico, I've noticed something kind of shocking. Almost all the locals wear masks everywhere, even when walking alone up an empty street. But on the flip side, many travelers here are not wearing masks at all. I'm not really sure why, because COVID is pretty widespread here in Mexico. The only thing I can really think of is that many people are traveling to get away from restrictions imposed by their own governments at home, and they feel more free to defy the regulations here. I think that's really irresponsible. So please, take steps to protect the locals and your fellow travelers while traveling and minimize the risk of spreading COVID to people who are welcoming you into their communities. So those are my top 5 tips for safe pandemic travel. What are some of the things that you've been doing to stay safer while traveling during this pandemic? Let me know in the comments below, and also let me know where you're planning to go or if you've been somewhere recently and how restrictions have changed the way that you travel. I'd like if we could all share some ideas for safe travel in the comments to this video, so let's get a discussion going. If you've enjoyed this video, please help me out and hit the like button. You can also follow me on Instagram and Facebook and see all of my artwork on my website. Thanks again for watching.